Alright guys, what's going on and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'm making a Bolognese meat sauce. So when it comes to what's authentic, you can do a YouTube search or a Google search and you're going to find like 50 different interpretations of what's authentic and what's not. What you're going to hear a lot of times is people say that it's mainly a meat sauce and not a tomato sauce, which I agree with, but that doesn't mean you can't add any tomato product in there. So I'm putting some tomato stuff in there, a little bit of red wine, I got some pork and some beef, carrot, celery, onion. Just going to cook it all together. Let that simmer for a few hours and it's going to turn out pretty good. So you be the judge if it's authentic or not. Because I've never been to Bologna, Italy. I've never been overseas. So I don't know. All I can go by is what I see on YouTube videos and who people I talk to. So check it out guys. Here we go. Alright guys, so for the prep work I got a couple carrots right here, a few things of celery, 2 small onions, about 1.25 pounds of some ground beef, and 1 pound of some pork. All I'm going to do is cut these in quarters and kind of get a small dice on these. Actually a little small, go as small as you can. I actually think that's a good amount of carrots right there. Alright, so there you go. So just for reference, that's the amount of meat I'm using. That's the amount of veg. Kind of equal. So if you're going to remake this, there you go. Alright, get some heat going. Get yourself a pot or a Dutch oven. Going to coat the bottom of the pot with some olive oil. Get the meat up in there. Alright, so all I'm going to do is just break up this meat and then some moisture is going to cook off of it. And I'm going to let the moisture just evaporate and then the fat's going to render out and then the meat's going to start to fry in its own fat and build up the fond in the bottom of the pot, which is basically that crust that builds up. It's going to look burnt, but it's not going to be burnt. It's just going to be developing flavor so that when we deglaze it, basically all that means I'm going to add some liquid in there and it's going to deglaze the bottom of the pan and then it's going to take off all that fond and it's going to add flavor to the dish. So don't pour out your juices, let it evaporate. Let everything fry up. It's probably gonna take like 5-10 minutes. So you can see when it's starting to stick at the bottom, that's how you're developing all that flavor right there. Looking good. It's only been a few minutes. Just gonna throw some salt, just to season as I go. Some pepper. All right, I feel like that's good enough right there. I'm gonna add the veggies in. And the moisture from the veggies is gonna partially deglaze the bottom, but then I'm gonna throw some red wine in there also. A few tablespoons of some tomato paste. Just cook that for a couple minutes. Get yourself some dry red wine. I got some Chianti right here. You could use white wine if you want. I just wouldn't use anything sweet. I'm just going to deglaze this. I'm using like probably a couple cups. Scrape the bottom. Get all that fond off the bottom. Maybe a little more wine. A little bit more salt and pepper up in there. All right, so I got 24 ounces of passata, which is basically just a tomato puree. I'm gonna pour in here. Turn the heat down a little bit. So I need more liquid in here. You could just add water, nothing's wrong with that. But I'm using chicken stock and just get it nice and soupy and let it reduce and cook it for a while. Obviously homemade chicken stock is better if you want to be all fancy, but I just got some chicken broth right here. All right, so I ended up using about half of this box of this stock right here. I'm gonna let this reduce on low, uncovered on the stove, and I'm gonna let it just sit here for a while. And you know, if the liquid level gets too low, add a little bit more water or whatever you got, some more stock. It's probably gonna take a few hours. Just let it rest, let it hang out, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Also, I got a little bundle of some thyme right here. I'm gonna throw in there. Let that hang out, add some flavor, and that's it. All right, so this is what we're looking like at just under 3 hours on the stove. I saw some, bigger chunks in there, so I went through with a potato masher and kind of just went down on it and kind of mushed everything in. So everything's all softer, looking better. I got that thyme right there. I'm gonna take it out because we don't need that. So I got some whole milk that I'm just gonna put in just to make it a little bit creamy. You can cook it the whole time with it in there, but I like to just put it in at the end. So like I said, it's just been under 3 hours, so I'm gonna let this go for probably another 20 to 30 minutes, and we should be good. All right, so I got that meat sauce to the consistency that I want. It's looking pretty good, as you can see. Not too runny, not too thick. All I'm gonna do is salt some water. So the pasta I'm using is a rigatoni. Just a regular old rigatoni pasta. You could use penne, you could use fettuccine, tagliatelle, pappardelle, just anything that holds onto the meat sauce really well. Go ahead and use that. But at the end of the day, use what you like. So in 13 to 14 minutes, this should be finished. Cook till al dente, and we'll throw it in the pan and make the pasta. A bit of pasta water in there just to like get that starch in there. So there you go, guys. Something perfect for this time of year. It's starting to get cold out. And I actually did this this video probably like a little over a month ago, and it just didn't come out right. I had some technical difficulties. So I was putting it off, and then during that time everybody's doing Thanksgiving videos and stuff like that. And I was just figuring there's enough turkey videos in the world, so I don't need to do another one. So tastes good to me. Like I was saying at the beginning, how authentic is this? I have no idea. I think the simpler you keep things, the less ingredients you put in there, the higher chance that it's gonna turn out good. And this turned out good. So just to go back over what I did, I just treated this like the same way you would do any kind of braised meat. So if you're gonna braise some short ribs in like red wine or whatever, basically do this the same way. Brown the meat, break it up, make sure it gets really ground up in there. Get the fond built on the bottom of the pot, add the veggies in, I put tomato paste in there, cooked that for a little bit, put the red wine in there, reduced that, put the stock in. You don't need to add stock, you can use regular water if you want. And I put some thyme in there. You don't even have to add any herbs if you don't want to do that. And then I just let it simmer for like 3.5 hours and it was done. And I put the milk in at the end. And if you want to put milk in for the whole thing, you could do that. But super easy, guys. Try this one out. Leave some comments. Let me know if this looks like shit, or if you think it looks good, let me know. See you in the next video, guys. Peace out. Cheers. Happy holidays.